Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, lesson learned from the confusion surrounding Carnival. A familiar community activist returns home months after fleeing for her life. Her sit-down interview with our news. The former Foreign Affairs Minister weighs in on citizenship being granted just before the general election. Plus, we take a look at the women lining the walls of Central Bank.
News is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, amid calls for voter registration to be brought into the 21st century by computerizing the process, former Parliamentary Commissioner Errol Bethel says he doesn't think that will happen anytime soon, as it will take more than just talk to get it done. Jasmine Brown reports.
Bethel was responding to calls for the process to be made more foolproof amid revelations that the current voter register was marred by hundreds of discrepancies. Democratic National Alliance leader Granville McCartney has called the register a mess, noting that some voters are listed as being born in the 1700s and 1800s, while others have registered more than once in different polling divisions and constituencies. McCartney joined a growing list of people calling for the voter registration process to be computerized. Bethel says while that is possible, it cannot be done without changes to the current legislation.
It is possible, but I think what will have to happen is that we'll have to have some changes to our legislation.
The former parliamentary commissioner says while many would like to think it's a simple process, it is not.
What happens now is that cards are prepared, but they're not issued because they are held until after you would have had the Boundaries Commission report. And then adjustments are made to those same cards that would have been done perhaps a year or more in advance. So if you're going to do these cards, like say a driver's license, you'll still not be able to issue them unless you have the proper procedures done in terms of changing the law.
Bethel says while there are many suggestions floating around, the truth is there is no quick fix.
There are many, many issues that can be looked at in terms of how to address it. Some people don't do a 5-year register at all. You know, some people do a register that maybe 10 years or more. Some people do a register based on population changes. They do a register based on all. There are many issues that can be looked at, and that is not, say, dealing specifically with this particular exercise. And I think people have to decide exactly if they would want to make adjustments.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
What, if anything, has the government learned from the backlash it received this past week for postponing Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival and changing everything back 2 days later? Our Georgia Bain spoke with Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Dr. Danny Johnson to find out.
The change of Carnival dates formed a better relationship between the government and Carnival band owners, according to Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Dr. Daniel Johnson, who says the government now has a better understanding of the importance of Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. This week, the Ministry of Tourism released a statement announcing the reinstatement of the original Carnival dates, adding the minister has also requested that the Grand Bahama component of the festival be reinstated for this year's Carnival. This change of heart came just 48 hours after officials confirmed that Carnival had been postponed due to unavoidable circumstances, sparking widespread outrage. Johnson says meeting with band owners and hearing how it would affect them was the reason behind the change.
We're listening to what the end users are saying, and I think their voices spoke loud and clear that this is something that they've latched on to. Their business, that's a business model that they have, is growing. I think it will inform some other business models we have, and we just our job is really to listen to the people, and we are regulators and facilitators, and so great conversation. I think everyone got to put their voices to it. For us as a ministry, we've heard them.
Though Torelli has asserted that the damage has already been done, Johnson says it provided an opportunity to dialogue with guests, which can never truly be a bad thing.
No, it's never a mistake to talk with your customer. You know, the customer is king. You got to listen to them. We're getting out there. We have done all the things that we should do. It's always a good idea to make sure you have that conversation and then listen to the conversation. And there's no one in the world that knows that better than us in the Bahamas. I mean, we are leaders in hospitality, but now we're trying to become leaders in sports tourism, in ecotourism, in cultural tourism, in medical tourism, in tech tourism. We're expanding our brand, It's Better in the Bahamas, to other areas.
Johnson also responded to calls by the FNM and DNA to privatize Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival, telling our news that the Progressive Liberal Party always had plans to privatize the festival.
I think you'll see all these things evolve. You'll get RFPs every year. You'll see more and more new people coming into it and their owners. So all of our franchises like this will continue to get private enterprise involved. That's the idea. We're not going to carry it forever. We just wanted to spark it and see how far it'll go, and maybe it'll inform other franchises that we have to do the same, because these things have to be sustainable.
Johnson also dismissed any suggestion that Carnival would affect the upcoming general election.
No, you have governance and you have politics. Governing a country always goes on. The things that this ministry is doing, the things that we have to do in tourism, things we have to do in banking, the banks don't change their times because you have an election time. Everything continues. The politics is the selection process for people to see who they think can govern best. And I think we will demonstrate within the next several weeks how well we can govern and do our politics.
Reporting for our news, I'm Georgie O'Bain.
Well, after fleeing the country for months in fear for her life, local community activist Candy Gibson is back home. In an exclusive interview with our news, she reveals why she fled and the worry she now has for herself and her family.
I had a grandbaby born. Times like that, there's memorial times when, you have a grandbaby born, you want to hold your grandbaby, your first grand, you want to be around, the hospital visit, you want to be around to be there.
But she couldn't. After fleeing the country in September, not long after the murder of her longtime boyfriend, Gibson said she missed a lot, but she had no choice as she was in fear for her life. Just a month before her boyfriend's killing, Gibson was taken into custody for questioning in connection with a murder. She was released days later, but the community activist who has made a name for herself speaking up for the families of murder victims says she doesn't feel her name has been cleared.
I could have gone any hour, day or night in the media, in any day, in any area. Camp Road, Knoxville, being done. Everybody welcoming. Now the police put me in this foolishness. I gotta be ducking, dodging, gotta have tents on the car, gotta be hiding out, had to leave my country and stuff. I almost lost my apartment building. I lost my 2 vehicles. I gotta start over fresh.
Candy lost 2 brothers to violent crime. The losses prompted her to start the support group Families of All Murder Victims. She's been on murder scene after murder scene offering support to grieving families, but her arrest and fears for her life brought the group's operations to a halt. But now that she's back,
the form is going to continue. Like I said, that's a vision God gave me after the birth of my 2 brothers. And no devil in hell is going to stop it. They're going to have to get used to it. The form is here.
Candy said she still feels the murders of her 2 brothers, her boyfriend, and so many others could have been avoided. We asked Gibson what's the one thing she wants to see come out of all of this.
I would want to see person's name cleared. Do not lock up a person, plaster their name over social media on bulletin board that's wanted. You arrest them and release them back to the public with we arrest or release so that they have to fend for themselves. I want the people name cleared, man. You can't do that.
The foyer of the Central Bank of the Bahamas is lined with beautiful images of women of all shapes and colors. It's a part of Trilogy's 50 Shades of Pain exhibition. We got a chance to talk with 2/3 of the trio. Color, color, and more color. Putting the beauty of the female body on full display in the Central Bank of the Bahamas, artists Jamal Rolls, Stephen Legend Davis, and Alan Pacino Wallace have created breathtaking images for an exhibition Bahamians have been raving about.
I call this woman of color. This is a combination of a reference photo of a lady who had this big afro, but I wanted to add my artistic flair and put colors in strategic places just to give a visual effect that you wouldn't regularly see.
Roll has created paintings of some of the biggest influencers worldwide and has become known as the celebrity artist. While there are no celebrities in these paintings, it's the story behind them that draws you in, like this one called The 10 Virgins.
This type of art, this is like the other side that you don't get to see. You see my conventional portraiture, and I wanted to focus on doing portraits as well as the 50 Shade type of theme.
Yeah,
but
it's risky.
Yeah, it is definitely.
You have 10 women here in bondage, clearly.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just interesting. Some of them, It's an interesting place where they are, because I mean, this piece has garnered a lot of attention.
Then there are pieces like those created by Stephen the Legend Davis.
This right here is this is my favorite.
Is your favorite?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
first of all, tell us about this one and I guess the inspiration behind it.
Oh man, you know, I was just going at it, you know. I painted this really late one night, and I started out with the hair. This was all black, and as you can see in the background there is all black, and I wanted to put some life into it, and I just took the paint out and I just started throwing the paint all around it.
The paintings show every aspect of the female body getting very risque at times, but Stephen said it's all in the name of good art.
Pretty much celebrating black beauty with this piece. Women, celebrating women, you know, their strength and just everything. I just love women.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think we celebrate them enough.
Davis said what's important is that women of all shades are represented in their art.
The color, man. I love black women. No offense to the white women.
Right.
But that's pretty much what it is.
So what would you want people or viewers to get from all of the paintings here at this exhibition?
Pretty much when you walk in the door, just to walk in with an open mind. That's pretty much what we were going after, you know. Just have an open mind to what you see. Don't look at it as face value, because some of the paintings here have some nudity, and you know the first thing they think about is sex or whatever it is. But that was not what we were going after.
Right.
You know what I mean? We really wanted to celebrate the beauty of humankind through women.
The exhibition is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 at the Central Bank of the Bahamas until April 28th. Still to come on our news, what the DNA would do with BAMSI if it were to become the government. And later on, find out who gave us our quote of the week. Stay tuned.